is a social media influencer called Amy Mckelberg. She is the one who has been instigating the Texans, a lot of misinformation about the project, and none of that is true. And she's trying to play with our fears, and she's trying to make us look towards each other with animosity and hate.
In my travels to the US, one of the most interesting conversations I had was with the man who is leading the Epic City development project in Texas. And from those of you who've been following the social media and the news, you know that there's been a huge amount of coverage, and actually negative coverage in many cases, and misconceptions around this project. And so I thought it would be really interesting to actually share with all of you what is actually happening at Epic so that you can make your own mind up. And from an investment perspective, I personally am very interested in learning more about exactly what is this project all about, and is it even a worthwhile investment to consider. So without further ado, I want to add Imran to the show. Imran, assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Walaikum assalam warahmatullah. Thank you so much, Ibrahim.
So Imran, you've heard of the the introduction that I just gave. I'd love to hear from you in just really simple words. What is Epic, the Masjid? What is Epic City, and who are you?
So let me first start with myself. My name is Imran Chaudhary, and I'm leading this Epic City project. As you mentioned, Epic Mosque is one of the prominent mosques in America. It's based here in Plano, Texas, in Dallas. So that's the major city. And Epic City is one of the projects that was ideated by the Epic Mosque. That's where the idea stemmed from. But it's a project that is run by a separate entity called Community Capital Partners. However, Epic is the sole shareholder for the profits from this project. So they're intertwined, even though these are two different projects, two different entities, but they're intertwined through the certain legal aspects.
Makes sense. And the thing that really intrigued me, Imran, when we were discussing this was how Epic, the Masjid, and all of the activities that it does. Like this masjid has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that go through it every single year. It has a pretty sizable budget as well that needs to be met every year. And the whole idea behind Epic City, from what you explained, was, sustainability. And so yeah, I'd love to hear from you to understand, where this idea even started from.
So basically, there were multiple factors, Ibrahim. As you mentioned, one of those were for us to become self-sustainable, self-reliant. From the day one, when we had our founders, our pioneers, when they were looking at this masjid and having this mosque in this area, one of the main concepts or the visions were to be self-reliant, independent. As you know, that overall the community, the Muslim, especially Muslim community, is very much reliant on donations. And every year we go through the fundraisers, and at some point there is a donor's fatigue, and you're not able to get the funds. So yeah, we have to look beyond, and we have to look at things that we can do to become independent, self-reliant. And that is where when we started this project, the idea came from a couple of my friends, myself. We were all sitting around and we were just thinking that, look, if you look at our population is aging. The overall Muslim population, the population is aging. The community is growing tremendously, almost 10x. It has grown since COVID, and people are moving into Dallas. So we wanted to create this multi-generational master plan community where you have not only residential, but also you have community centers. You have school, you have mosque, you have retail, hospitals, senior living. So just a community that's open to all at the same time, but also fulfills the needs of Muslim community and a community at large, where you have all the amenities around us. So anybody can come in and live there and just enjoy all the amenities that we're looking to provide.
And the whole idea is that then this becomes almost like a waqf, or like the cash generative side for all of the charitable and Islamic activities that happen, in the Epic Masjid and the Epic ecosystem.
That is right. That is, this project is the endowment, one of the the whole purpose of this project is that this is going to be an endowment for the Epic Mosque and a community at large. So we want to provide the services, even though Ibrahim, even though this is an endowment for the mosque, and yes, we want to make sure that we become self-reliant. At the same time, we don't want to lose the opportunity that we are going to serve our community around us. Right now, Epic Mosque being one of the prominent mosques in the area, we are not only serving the Muslim community, but also serving the neighbors, but also serving the community at large. We have so many projects which are going on, and we provide the community service to all of our neighbors and the community around us. So inshallah, with this project also, our goal is that we become self-reliant, we become independent as we serve our neighbors and our communities around us.
And just to give folks an understanding of the lie of the land in the US, because, until I went, I didn't really know. So you've got Texas, which is the state, and then you've got Dallas, and then you've got this Plano area within the Dallas area, and then you've got this masjid. An Epic East Plano Islamic Center is one of the largest masajid, if not the largest masjid, certainly in Dallas, but also actually across the US, I think it's fair to say, right?
No, absolutely. We are one of the prominent mosques and one of the largest as far as the space is concerned. Also, from an overall social media perspective, we are one of the masajid which are out there providing content and service to our community.
And so in Ramadan, there are people that actually visit, right? They come and they live next to the masjid to spend Ramadan, because that's the kind of scale of operation that we're talking about. And there's schools associated with the masjid. There's shops, almost like a parade of shops next to the masjid that are to do with Islamic mortgages or other kind of associated facilities that Muslims might want. That's the setup at the moment. And all around it, you've got huge swathes of the Muslim population that live near the masjid, understandably, and those houses are in high demand and basically full, right? There's no more housing in that area, and so you've got a need for that own community to now think about where everyone is going to move. And then you've got people who continue to flock in to Dallas from outside of the city, and there's been a big move to do that, because you've got Sheikh Yasir Qadi, you've got Sheikh Abdul Nasir Jangda, you've got Sheikh Umar Suleiman, you've got Numan Ali Khan, you've got all of these scholars and leaders in one city, right? So you're seeing a lot of this inflow as well. So yeah, I'd love for you to kind of talk to us about the demographics that you were seeing, that you were trying to address with this.
Absolutely, Ibrahim. What you said is that Dallas has become a melting pot for the overall community, Muslim community. And especially we noticed that after COVID or during COVID, the growth was exponential. A lot of people moved in, and I was Epic president during the COVID time. I was there for 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. And what I noticed was that pre-COVID, it was a different community, and post-COVID, it was a different community altogether. As I mentioned, that we saw exponential growth of the community, and just it's at such a level that people started moving out. Not only, so Epic is one community, but we have other communities around us. And as the crowd was coming in, they were going into the outskirts, and they were trying to go to as out and outside of Dallas. And that's where we found the opportunity for Epic City. And we see that the community around Epic, Islamic Center today, was done organically. It was built up organically. The housing, the lots, the markets, they all came up organically. But with this Epic City project, this is a master plan community. And we are also trying to address not only the need as far as the school and the community centers and the mosque, but also multi-generational. So you have we are all growing old. And now there's a big seniors population. We're all getting older. And there's a big need to have a senior living where different people can come together and we can all live there close to all these amenities. So yeah, so to your point, absolutely, it's a melting pot. It's becoming a hub in the US, and Dallas is growing really fast.
And Imran, for those who aren't familiar with this, how can give us a sense of the scale of Epic City? And there's been, I think, $40 million worth of plots that have already been sold. Like, talk to us about what is the project itself, what's been sold so far, and what the plans are, looking forward. And then we'll talk about the spicy political stuff as well in a second.
So Ibrahim, as of now, so this, first of all, this is about 400 acres of land that we purchased last year in September. It's in Collin County and Hunt County. It's close to a city called Josephine. It's not Josephine, but it's close to that city. It's one of the hottest growing areas in Texas, if not only in Dallas, in Texas. Here, we are trying to bring close to 850 residential homes, about 160 townhomes. We have a plan for commercial where we're trying to bring apartments, retail, a hospital, senior living. Also, our plan is to work with the local community and the county to bring a community college as we look at it as well. So really, a full service community, not only for the Muslim community, but a community at large, and anybody can come and live there. So that's the overall footprint of the community. Like I said, 4 acres, and pretty much we're trying to bring all those amenities in there: swimming pools, parks, grounds. As you know, 400 acres is a lot of land.
And you've bought this land already?
Yes, we purchased that land back in September 2024. I just wanted to, I think you mentioned about selling 40 million worth of lots. So I just want to say that we have sold more than 500 lots, or as we call it, shares. And the overall value of this sale is close to over 100 million. And out of that, we have collected 40 million, approximately 40 million in the bank. So that is what we have. And from that money, we purchased the land, and the rest of the money will be used for development of this residential lots.
Makes sense. And so, all right. So if 500 have been purchased already, there's another what, 350 or like, I don't know, X number that's remaining that you'll then now issue out? Is that how it's going to work?
That is right. We have about 350 left, and we do have townhome lots. Also, we have not opened those up for sale, but at some point we're looking to see what we can do there. Also, like I said, we want to have a more of a commercial area where we have retail, and we have apartments, multifamily use, hospital, and other things, as I mentioned before.
And so the big vision is that, the people who are buying this, they're buying this because, there's going to be a masjid, community center, there's going to be Islamic school, community college, swimming pool, gym, etc., and they also benefit because they know that, whilst anyone can buy the properties there, the likelihood is that it will be majority, Muslim community that will be in that region, and so they benefit from, I guess, the environment that is that's quite nice for them, and they can easily access the masjid. Is that an accurate characterization of who's buying these things over there, or are people buying for other reasons as well?
I believe there are multiple reasons, Ibrahim. One of those is definitely that they want to live around a school, a mosque. But I do see a number of people who approach me and talk to me. Their goal is they want to live close to a hospital. Many of the people I spoke with, they want to live either in senior living that we have over there, and right now they're buying lots in the hope that in the future they can move to their senior living at some point. Some people just want to buy it for the retail and the commercial part of it. They like that all the amenities are close by. Some people just like the overall dynamics of the community and what we're bringing overall over there. So different reasons. Yes, it's since we have a mosque there, it's a Muslim friendly community. But at the same time, I know we're gonna get to it down the road in your podcast. But absolutely, this is open to all. And at this point, to be honest with you, we don't know what the demographic looks like for the community, because we never asked anybody what's your religion or what's your race or ethnicity. It was all about, as long as you're an accredited investor and you're willing to put down 40,000 or 80,000, you will have the shares, you'll have the lot.
Makes sense. And that's a crucial point, right? That this is only for accredited investors. And I should also caveat that, we're not giving investment advice on here. This is more for informational purposes and also, I guess, journalistic purposes, because one of the things that piqued my interest, frankly, in this entire conversation is a lot of the political football that started to get played over this entire project. Talk to us a little bit about that, because for some people that will scare them as well.
Thank you for the question. Really, this whole thing started back in March or April, and the instigator of this is a social media influencer called Amy Meckelberg, or Amy Mac, and she is the one who has been instigating the Texans and many other folks with a lot of misinformation about the project and a lot of slanders about Dr. Yasser and about the project, about Epic, about Epic City. And none of that is true. She's been claiming a lot of things, and she's trying to play with our fears here in Texas, and she's trying to make us look towards each other with animosity and hate. So that's the influencer that started all of this, and then we had some politicians in our state who issued some statements, and that's how the everything started. And we had a number of agencies that started the investigation. They inquired what we are doing and what we have done, and we provided all of the documentations. And Alhamdulillah, you may have heard that Department of Justice that closed the case many months ago. Very recently, last month, Texas Workforce Commission has closed the case. We have come to conciliation, and we have not heard back from the other agencies. We have given all the information many months ago, and we have not heard back. So Alhamdulillah, from our perspective, we are making progress. And at this point, inshallah, we are looking to go to the local government, the counties, for the plans approval, and we are going to submit those plans.
Makes sense. So let's talk about the upside, and let's also talk then about the downside. So the upside here is what exactly? So if you've got your investor hat on, you're buying this piece of land that you have paid $40,000, as a deposit, as an option to buy into. Is it 40,000 or is it 80,000?
It is 80,000, but you can make in two payments. That down payment.
Okay, fine.
80,000.
Okay, fine.
40,000.
So let's say you paid 80,000, and you've got this initial down payment. What exactly are you buying, and when will you need to make the rest of the payment?
So you are with $80,000, you are buying the right to have a lot in Epic City at a 15% discount, depending on how many lots you get. If you get more than certain lots, that you get 20% discount. Ibrahim, when you started your podcast, you said, yes, right now around current Epic Mosque, there are lots, and right now there are none available. But even if there were any available right now, approximately a 6,000 square feet lot is going for $650,000 to $700,000 for lot. And I'm not talking about the house. I live about 3 to 4 minutes away from Epic, not in the neighbors. And my house price is probably 600, 650, and I live on a 10,000 square feet house. So you can see that my house price is less than the lot price around around the Masjid right now. And of course, the markets are there, and it's hustle and bustle in this part of the community. So here in Epic City, the idea is that you put down 80,000, you get the right to buy that lot at a 15% discount or up to 20% discount. Right now, you put on 80,000, and then once we give you, and what we promise you a developed lot in approximately 3 years. Of course, we can't promise the exact date, but approximately in 3 years, we expect to give you your developed lot, and you make the remaining payment in 3 years. Right now, you put down 40,000, then in another few months you put down another 40,000, so that makes it 80,000 down payment, and then in 2.5-3 years you make the remaining balance on your lot. So depending on the size of the lot, depending on the location of the lot in the community, that price, the starting price could be 100,000 up to 300,000, 350,000, depending on the lot size, because we do have some half-acre lots, we do have some quarter-acre lots. So it all depends. From day one, we promised everybody that the price will be between $25 a square foot to $35 a square foot with that discount, 15 to 20% discount. And we are not going to deviate from this one. Inshallah, we are going to commit to what we have promised, and we have the land in our hand. And the upside is, inshallah, in 3 years, inshallah, you will have a developed lot, and then either you can sell it, you can build a house, you can rent it, you can come and live there. Our goal is, inshallah, in 3 years, 3.5 years, to start building a school, possibly a mosque, a community center, and other amenities, inshallah. So it will be a place for you to come and live.
So ultimately, when you say developed plot, you mean that it will have access to things like water and electricity, but otherwise it will be basically a piece of land, right? With road access.
That is right. So we give you all the horizontal, as they got all the horizontal utilities. That includes water, sewer, electricity, gas. We'll have all the roads, right? So access in all of that stuff. So yeah, absolutely, you're right. So we're not building the house. We can build it for you, but what we're giving you right now in this price is a developed lot with all the utilities ready for construction.
And could you help with helping people figure out how to get the actual building built as well? Because many people won't be builders, right?
Absolutely. And more than 70% of people who have invested with us, they are not in Dallas. They're outside of Dallas. So many of them are want this help and they want us to build a house for them, or they want us to provide recommendations, even though we have said from day one that you could bring your own developer, but we understand that many of our even current investors, they're outside of Dallas and they want our help. And inshallah, we will provide their help. We'll have a number of developers. Even we could ourselves be look at that and work with some developers to provide that service. So inshallah, that is something that we are working on, and we'll have that a solution for all of the people who are already with us.
So Imran, I want to talk a little bit about the risks associated with this investment as well, right? So the big risks are that there's delays because of issues with planning, issues with licensing, issues with the development work. There's all sorts of delays. That will be one risk. Another risk could be that just the permissions are just never given. Politically, maybe there's some issues, and you end up having paid a chunk of money for a piece of land that ultimately is not going to be as valuable anymore, because it won't be as valuable as initially had been proposed. So there's that issue. Let's start with those two first.
So Ibrahim, let's look at the downsides. First, we have land in our hand at this point. We bought the land for approximately $16 million back in September. And that is a huge plus, because let's say, God forbid, for any reason, if we're unable to complete this project, or we see any issues that are coming up and we are not able to move forward, we are going to sell this land. We bought that land for less than 40,000 an acre. Right now, the going price in that area, because I know one of the people who just bought a land close to 200 acres in probably like half a mile away from Epic City, and he paid 50,000 an acre. Already the price is going up. So God forbid, if something happens, we can always sell that land, right? And we can always recover that money. Of course, there's always risk. I never say that there's no risk, but if you look at the risk, what is the risk? The risk is that we are going to say, God forbid something happens, we'll have to sell that land. And even if we sell that land, let's say we bought it for 16 million, we sell it for 20 million, still we end up selling for more. And after we cover our cost, we are going to give the money back to our investors, whatever is remaining. And that may not be that significant loss. I believe in that. So I think from that perspective, yes, you mentioned, Ibrahim, yes, could there be any delays? Absolutely, there could be some delays. And we have sort of into our plan, we have built in those delays into our current 3-year plan, that there could be some delays from when we go for the approvals and submit our plans. But first of all, we have built in those delays into our timeline. Number two, if there is any issue with the project, we're going to sell the land and recover that money, and inshallah give that money back to the investors.
And what about the political aspects, Imran? How do you mitigate against those?
Right now, Ibrahim, as I mentioned, alhamdulillah, the Department of Justice has closed. Within 2 weeks, they closed the investigation, and we got the letter. A few weeks ago, we got a conciliation with TWC, which is Texas Workforce Commission. They are the one who look at the fair housing. They are the one if we did anything. And alhamdulillah, we have reached a conciliation and agreement with them. Of course, we are going to make some changes in our communication, in our plan a little bit. We are coming out with a new website. We have told our investors and few other things. But overall, the project, we have not made, this is the same project. And if really, inshallah, at this point, we feel that we are heading in the right direction. And if there is any challenge, we'll face it heads on. We have a good legal team. From day one, we have consulted with our legal team, with our, with our attorneys before we did anything. And that's one thing I want to let you know, that from day one, we consulted with our legal team before we did anything, whether it's a structure of the organization or it's about offering the PPMs, accreditation, investors, anything that we did. We consulted with our attorneys, and even today we are consulting. We have attorneys that cover SEC, land use, that cover fair housing. So we have those attorneys, legal team that works with us. So inshallah, we don't see, even if there was an initial political challenge, we feel we're heading the right direction, inshallah, with these multiple agencies closing the cases. Others have not responded. So inshallah, we believe that we will have this project, inshallah. We will finish it on time, inshallah.
Makes sense. And then Imran, what about people who bought these plots? How do you know? How do you check if they can afford to complete on the purchase at the end, right? And also, are there any restrictions around what can or can't be built on that plot of land once someone has bought it?
Good point. So let me just say first, as you know, these are all accredited investors, and if you know, in the U.S., the individual investor who is accredited should be making individually 200,000 per year for the last 2 years, or 300,000 if they're working, if the husband and wife are both working, right? So that's 300,000 individually, 200,000, or you should have a net worth of $1 million. That excludes your primary residence. So that's the overall high level requirement for an individual investor, accredited investor. So first we have done that check for every single person who have invested. We wanted to make sure that we get the letter from their CPA, so they are accredited. So we believe that the people who have purchased, they're committed. They have made us the payment, $80,000, which is non-refundable until we finish the development of this project. So they're committed with us on this one, and inshallah, we hope that that we will have that payment. That's one thing. Secondly, on that lot, that is a single family lot. So currently what we're selling, these 850, these are single family lots. You can build a single family home on those lots. Yes, down the road, we are looking at townhomes and apartments and other things. That will be another investment that could open up doors for those who investors who are looking to make some profit also. But at this point, we are still in the planning phases, and we have not opened that up yet. But right now we have residential lots which are open.
And are there any limits or time limits within which a plot needs to be constructed on, or could people just hold it indefinitely as just a plot?
Good point, and we looked at that because we want to build this community as soon as possible. So right now, we are looking at 5 years after we give you your developed lot. So let's say we give you your developed lot in 3 years. We are asking our people, our investors, to build the house within 5 years after we give you. So that gives you about 8 to 9 years before you come and build your house.
And Imran, there was this very interesting term that I came across when we were discussing this called MUD. What is MUD?
MUD is called Municipal Utility District, and that's one of the ideas, or one of the instead of taxes, if you have the MUD approved, you get many benefits, and one of those benefits is that you get your reimbursement on the development cost. Of course, there are some restrictions. There are certain aspects to that, and I'm just making it very simple for our audience. That MUD, in other words, is a way for us to get reimbursed from the state of Texas, or from from that utility, not state of Texas, but from that utility district. And the way sort of it works, and again, just take it from a layman, right? I'm not the expert in MUD, but as a layman, my understanding is that let's say if I spend 50 million, and I should be able to, depending on certain assumptions, I should be able to get my reimbursement about $30 to $40 million back over time. It doesn't happen on day one. There are certain criterias, how many people come and live there, some financials that we have to go through. But it's a very interesting concept, as you said, idea, and we are hoping that the money that we spend in the development will have a reimbursement in few years. And so that sort of is the idea around MUD, and it's a pretty useful thing to have approved.
And that money will go to the investors, or it will go to Epic as a waqf?
It will go to Epic as a waqf.
Okay. And not that you're a tax advisor, Imran, but can you talk us through a little bit about tax implications of all this stuff? Because ultimately here there is a bit of a donation going on as well, right? And presumably that's tax deductible. And are there any issues around, even if someone has invested now, let's say this $80,000, are there any tax considerations they need to be thinking about for the next 2, 3, 4 years?
Not right now. There are no tax. So anybody who invested, for example, in 2024, we give them K1s. And of course, I'm not the tax advisor, and I wouldn't give anybody any advice, but we give them. And my understanding is, because I am also one of the investors, and basically with that K1, it neither increases my taxes nor decreases. It's just an investment. However, down the road, as you mentioned, that we are going to donate the profit from this project is going to be donated back to the nonprofit. And whenever we donate, that amount or the land or anything that we donate back to the Epic Masjid or Epic Mosque, there will be a donation receipt that will come to us that will pass on to our current investors. So there is that potential of getting a tax write-off, a receipt, as we give donation to a nonprofit. So that is something that we consulted with our attorneys, and that's absolutely something that we're looking at. When would that happen? It's when we start giving the profit back to the masjid or anything that we want to give from a land perspective, and that's where we will have that opportunity for investors to get a tax write-off for the money that they gave us proportionally.
So there could be scenarios where actually they end up, getting more in long-term tax write-offs than they even invested in the first place.
That's absolutely a possibility. That could be a possibility, and so that they could have a significant amount being written off. How much, all of those details, right? I couldn't speak to it right now, but yes, absolutely, that there is a potential write-off down the road.
And if people want to hear more about Epic City or subscribe to some kind of list where they hear about the next time you open up this offering, where can they find out more information?
They can go to our website, which is www.epicccp.com. So www.epicccp.com. And Ibrahim, it's not public yet, but we are changing our website. The new website will be launched in another week to 2 weeks, and the current website, Epic CCP, will be directed to this new website. And so we are really excited about this new website, and we have made some changes in our plan. In our plan, we do have a space for other faiths to come and build their places of worships, and in a community center where we can have a gathering of multi faiths, and we can have a dialogue and interfaith dialogue. So we are making some changes based on the recommendations that we heard from our TWC and from our attorneys, but we are very excited because this tells us we're heading the right direction and we are making progress. So far so good. I am super optimistic about the project, and again, you're hearing it from horse's mouth, right? That today, I'm much more optimistic than I was 3 months ago or 4 months ago because of the things that have turning out. We're getting a bunch of approvals. We are looking to go to county for plan submission, and we believe very confident that inshallah we'll have the phase 1 lots out inshallah in approximately three years.
Fantastic. Well, clearly, Sheikh Yasir is doing his tahajjud for the project, and it seems to be working. Alhamdulillah. So, Imran, the final thing I wanted to say, it's not really a question, it's more of an observation. And this is, even why we're doing this podcast. I feel like it's what you guys are doing here. It is highly ambitious. It is, on the I guess it's pushing the boat out, quite far relative to what a masjid usually does, right? We should accept that. But I think the sheer ambition of trying to create a sustainable waqf type system that actually supports this masjid for the foreseeable future, I feel like that alone is something that definitely warrants further investigation, but also as much as we can, our support as well, without wanting to comment on the the investment aspect of it. And then of course you've got the investment angle as well. So if that case stacks up, then that alone could be a potential reason why someone invests. But for me, the fact that there is this big, audacious and quite visionary approach that you're taking is something that I think we should hold up as an example for inspiration for many other masajid, right? That this is the sort of thing that could happen.
Ibrahim, and I was talking to one of the reporters, and the reporter did his homework, and they did some research as to is there any project that has been done by a Muslim-led community or Muslim-led developer of this scale. And they looked at Europe, they looked at America, and they told us, and it's them telling us that they haven't found a project in the whole Western Hemisphere of this scale that is being done that ambitiously, as you mentioned, by a Muslim developer, right, by a Muslim community, and that is huge. And of course, we love the freedom that we are given in America, in the U.S., in Texas, and we have the right to do what we want to do, and for our community and the community at large, and benefit everybody. So to your point, yes, it's ambitious, but yes, you got to have those goals. You got to have that vision to cross the boundaries, to cross the circles, anywhere that we are. And I think that's one of the projects that we're looking to take the community to the next level and start thinking much bigger than what we've been doing for the last 50 years.
Jazakallah khair. Imran, this has been a real pleasure. We'll include all of the links in the description as well, so that you guys can check out, if you want to get more details, you can check that out on the website for Epic CCM. Imran, this has been a real pleasure, and I'm very keenly going to follow the progress of what you guys are up to, and inshallah, with our investment hat on, we can take a separate look at it ourselves as well.
Thank you, Ibrahim. And I love Islamic Finance Guru. I've been watching your videos. You guys doing an amazing work. So I just love Islamic Finance Guru. Amazing work. And it was nice meeting you in person. And of course, it's nice meeting you also virtually. So thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.